friends, how you doing? Michelle here, in case you don't know. I don't know about you, but I have been kind of elevating my movement practice recently, which is feeling good, and I'm feeling sore. But like especially my butt is definitely feeling it. So if you're in that situation, we're gonna do a little rollout of our glutes, of your butt, of your cheeks, whatever you want to call it. So grab your original tune-up balls in tote. If you don't have them, grab tennis balls as well. They don't need to be in their tote. And then if you have that alpha size ball, that kind of medium dark blue size ball, that might be one to use instead of the two. That might feel really nice. So either or. But let's get started. So come to lying down. I'll meet you on the ground. Okay, so just have your balls nearby. Maybe they're just on your hips. And give yourself a moment lying in Ardha Shavasana. And maybe just take a breath or two to start, right? Just to kind of feel the sensations of your body, the touch points of your body into the ground. And then if you've ever done a figure four type of stretch, that's what we're gonna do, is kind of a little check-in to see what's going on with our hips. So you're gonna take your right knee so that your right ankle comes on top of your left thigh, and your right knee is kind of pointing out towards the right side of the room. And you can stay here. You might just kind of notice how you feel. If you'd like to elevate the situation, you can take your hands onto the left hamstring or into the left shin and bring that thigh towards your body, using the right arm to kind of press the right thigh out. So any of those variations are okay. And we're just kind of using this for a check-in. So if you're like, this is really intense, totally okay. Just notice where you feel it. And then just switch sides. So how are your hips? Right? Is one side different than the other? Does the rest of your body tense up? Right? That's just information for you as you feel the shape in your body before we start rolling. Okay. And then go ahead and release that. And we're gonna go ahead and find both of our balls. So this is we're using both of them on both cheeks. So if you do that alpha, set it off to the side. Just grab your two tennis balls, massage balls, tune-up balls. And each one is gonna make its way to the meatiest part of your cheeks, right? It's like the fleshiest part of your bottom. Just give yourself a moment with the feet heavy and the knees pointing up towards the ceiling. Take a breath or two into sensation. I just want you to notice kind of the first initial sensation or feedback or muscle bracing response you might be feeling in your glutes, right? They're already kind of tensing up because this is uncomfortable. Notice it. And then you're going to butterfly your knees together, or your feet together rather, so that your knees are apart. You're in this kind of Supta Baddha Konasana type of shape if you're a yogi. And take another moment here, right? The elevated intensity, it might have increased the intensity. Can you bring some attention back to your breath if those sensations are maybe increasing in your body? Right? Has your breath changed? Can you slow it down? Okay, and as always, the movements that I'm going to walk you through are optional. So maybe you take some of them, maybe you don't take others, maybe you take all of them. But the first thing that might be interesting to experience would be to press into the knife edge of your feet so that you contract your glutes, right? You can contract your butt muscles so that you lift your body up off the balls, right? You're contracting so much that the balls can no longer penetrate in towards your tush. You're going to take an inhale. Maybe you pause and hold your breath at the top. And then exhale, release everything. Feel your body kind of drape over the balls. And you're going to do a couple of those. As you move through this, you might notice that maybe one side is way different than the other, right? One side is maybe able to release a little faster. I know that's the case for me. Maybe one side has an easier or more challenging time contracting. Just notice it. Right? But whether it's that you have moved more and are working out more or whatever, hiking or running, or for me it's walking my dog, taking my dog on longer walks, and I live in a hilly neighborhood. Or maybe you're on the other side of it, right? Maybe you haven't been moving, you've been doing a lot more sitting. This is gonna help wake everything up, help release tension, unstick the stick in the back of your body, whether it's because you're sore or maybe because it needs to be woken up, right? Okay. And then kind of release everything down. Take a breath or two as your body kind of drapes heavily over those balls. And at some point you might need to adjust them if you're finding an area that feels a little pinchy. And know that you can always do that or back off. We're never looking for something that is electric pain or feels so intense that maybe you're gritting your teeth or holding your breath. But maybe start to take kind of this little hula sensation. So the balls kind of rock an inch to the right and an inch towards the left as your body kind of jives from side to side, and they'll probably go a little out of the way here. Just rocking, right? Cross fibering, but also working with kind of where the piriformis generally lives, right? That's that muscle that helps you to open your legs. That's that muscle that helps you to do a lot of things, quite frankly. And it's often one that comes up in pain and tightness. Okay. And then go ahead and come back to stillness. Plant your feet back on the ground so the knees come bent up towards the ceiling. Go ahead and release, let's do this. Release both balls, actually. Let's do that. And then both balls you'll have on one side. And again, this might be one where you grab your alpha if you'd like to experience that. You're going to take them onto the side of your right hip. So you might take a moment if you're unsure where the bony landmarks are, but you're looking for what we call your greater trochanter. So it's that kind of bone if you see on a Halloween skeleton that pokes out. You might hit it on a countertop and you might bruise it. It's kind of that bone. So we're looking to take the balls right behind it. So the side of your butt, basically. And then you're going to lean your body into that so that your right knee is on the ground pointing towards the right. And your left foot is more or less kind of like a kickstand. And then from here, here's what's going to happen. You're going to start to drive your weight forward. So you're pressing your body forward so that the balls push back towards your sacrum. And your sacrum is that middle bone, that flat diamond-shaped bone in between your cheeks, right? And then you're slowly going to kind of drag it back and start over. So there's this kind of sensation of pressing into my right knife edge of my foot so that I clench my glutes a little bit. And then I'm trying to push all the flesh and all the muscular towards my sacrum. So I'm pushing, I'm plowing it. I'm going to pause here. And then I'm going to release a little bit of weight and tension and just start over. So can I push all the flesh away? Can I release all the tension? And then start over. You might compare this to like every time you're pushing the balls towards the sacrum as if there was, if you had like a runner on the table, on like a dining room table, and you're trying to push the runner out of the way. It's that same concept of scrunching everything up towards your sacrum and then really lightly just starting over. So can you release tension? And so this, I like to think of it as kind of layers of all the muscles that are layered over your piriformis. You're kind of moving the tissue out of the way, allowing your glutes to move out of the way so that you can also kind of get into not only the piriformis, but moving your glute max. You can kind of feel a little bit of your glute min, your glute med, all those other muscles get a little bit of traction too. Okay. And then the next time that you press back towards your sacrum, pause. And just let your body kind of lay heavily onto that kind of pressure, pushing the flesh away. And then might you just clench your butt. So contract, take an inhale breath, and then exhale, release everything back down. Oof. And you're going to do that 2 more times. And if it feels too intense to be so close to your sacrum, feel free to move the balls a little closer to the center of your cheek. Oh, last one here. And let it go. Oh. Okay. And then really slowly release yourself from that side. Give yourself a moment. Just allow your hips to lie heavy on the ground. You might already notice the difference from side to side. For me, it's dramatic. And same thing, you're gonna find that bony landmark, you're gonna find that greater trochanter. Those balls are gonna make their way behind it, so on the side of your butt. You're gonna lean your left knee so that it comes down to the ground and it points towards the left, and your right knee might be using itself like a kickstand. And then when you're ready, you're driving your weight and your body forward so that the balls plow and push the flesh towards your sacrum. And this, from this angle, it might be a little easier for you to see what I'm talking about. Right? Can I push everything towards the center? And there might be a little contracting that's happening. You could do this totally with the glutes relaxed. I personally kind of like to use a little bit of musculature effort because I've got to use it to push my hips anyways, but to each their own. And then as always, like, right, you're the explorer of your body. So as you move through this, if you're like, oh, that feels interesting, but like there is this other thing that I just discovered while I was doing this, and I like doing that instead, do that, right? Let this be inspiring to you. You always get to advocate for yourself, so if something feels painful as opposed to just uncomfortable, don't do it, right? Find something that maybe feels a little bit more available to your body and your nervous system, and that muscle bracing response is really going to tap in. And it's going to tell you, hey, maybe back off a little bit. Okay, let's do one more. Push up against that sacrum, pause, and then can you contract your muscles and then release everything down. And you're going to do that 2 more times, again, adjusting the location of the balls if that feels better for you. And last one. And let it go. Whew. Slowly release those balls. And then we're going to find our way to our sacrum. So again, if you have 2, you have that orange sized one, that alpha ball, you can grab that too. You're going to stay exactly where you're at. I'm just going to show you where we're going. Either 2 balls sit side by side or 1 big ball sits on your sacrum, that diamond shape. That's not a diamond, but you know what I mean. Bone. Everything else stays the same. Give yourself a moment here, just kind of breathe into this. If this is quite tender, and you haven't already and you'd like to take this to the wall to take gravity out of it, you always can. And for a moment before we start moving, I want you to see if you can breathe into your low belly and feel your low belly as if you could imagine it in a 3-dimensional way, right? That you're breathing up into your low belly and down into the balls. That's a big inhale breath. And exhale, let it go. So as much as you're trying to breathe into the lower abdominals, you're also breathing down into your sacrum. You're trying to expand the tissue that connects to your sacrum. One more big inhale breath. Breathe as much up as much down. And let it go. And then start to kind of rock those balls along the waistband, so along the crest or the edge of your pelvis. Kind of feeling them now roll over that connective tissue and along the other musculature on the tops of your glutes. And also on that musculature and that fascia, that thoracolumbar fascia, that's feeding all the way up from the tops of your shoulders. Right? And maybe it wouldn't be so crazy to say that maybe by rolling out your glutes, if you had low back pain, maybe we can release that too, as the interconnected human being that you are. Okay. And then find your way back to center. If you have an alpha ball, stick with it. If you have 2, you can go down to 1. It's going to be way more intense. If you're like, absolutely not, then you can stay with the 2 or the alpha. And you're going to start to trace the diamond shape of your sacrum, imagining that those connections are getting traced and you're releasing tenderness and unsticking the stick, unlocking the lock around your sacrum. And then maybe take some attention back to your breath, right? What's going on? Have you forgotten about your breath? Were you holding it? How does it feel to breathe? All right. And then go ahead and release those balls. Give yourself a moment. Lie on your back. Take 2 big inhales in through your nostrils and out through your mouth. 1 more big inhale. And let it go. Might you recheck that thread the needle, taking the right ankle on top of the left knee, finding the variation that you like, and maybe noticing how it feels now. You might notice that the shape is a little more accessible or different. It might be easier to breathe, or maybe it's different, right? Maybe it's your upper spine. Maybe to do this before you were lifting up your head and you were tensing your shoulders. Maybe it's a little easier for your head to stay heavy on the ground. And then just switch sides, right? So the cool thing that I think about this work too is, in addition to, yes, just releasing tension in that area, a lot of this work is really with the nervous system. So while maybe you don't feel it today in your glutes, or you see a difference rather today in your glutes, you've tapped into your parasympathetic nervous system simply by doing your self-massage. So you've released that part of your nervous system that says, hey, we can chill out. Hey, we can relax. Hey, we're safe. So there are endless benefits, even if it's not the straight up, how does my shape look? Maybe you just found a little bit more ease in your body. Okay. And then release those feet and just give them a couple rocks from side to side. All right. And then bring them back into a tabletop. Last little thing we'll do, just a little move. You're gonna cross your right leg over your left, like a very, ladylike type of moment if you're a lady. But you're crossing, right? So you're kind of asking for the thighs to layer over each other. And the feet are trying to kind of reach wide. And then with your hands, you're gonna grab your hands to not only kind of bring your knees towards your chest, but to grab some ankle. And that's going to be, again, different from day to day, different from person to person. So you might be grabbing towards your ankle. You might be able to grab towards the soles of your feet. Maybe it's under the ankle. And you're going to see without a lot of pressure, if maybe you can guide the feet towards the sides of the room, a little closer towards your face. And this shape is orienting from your hips. So we're not asking our knees to torque at all, but rather with a little bit of guidance. And for me, honestly, I'm just kind of using my arms to be heavy to add a little bit of pressure so that my hips themselves are opening. And that's why maybe I'm getting a little bit more range in where my feet are in space. Take a breath or two, right? You always get to decide. And this might be something that you would see we would do sitting down. I find that this is a little less intense, right? Because gravity is working with you now. And then just switch angles. Give yourself a moment. Maybe the exchange, right? Maybe the feet, one foot can come closer than the other. Maybe this side feels totally different. But enjoy this stretch, this hip opener, we might call it. And send some breath if that means that you need to back off on the shape and just breathe. Okay. And then reach the legs long. We're just gonna shake them out for a moment. Let them flop around. And then reach your arms long. We're just gonna end with a brief moment of breathing and stillness. So once you've wiggled out all your wiggles, might you revisit your breath? Noticing the sensations that you feel as your breath enters and exits your body. Can you once more breathe into your low belly and breathe into your sacrum? And if that breath feels okay with you, Maybe the next time that you breathe, you see if you can feel that breath move a little higher, and you breathe into the rib cage and you breathe into the low back. And then you let it go. And then see if you can try that more and make it a little less segmented, a little smoother. So inhale into the low belly, inhale into the sacrum, inhale to the belly and the spine, and let it go. I now kind of feel this sensation of like a whoosh. So inhale from the low belly to the rib cage, to all the way up under the collarbones, from front to back and side to side. And let it all go. Kind of feel that breath move down as it exits. I'm going to do that one more time. This wave-like sensation. Inhale. Low belly, rib cage, all the way up under the collarbones. And let it go. Bend your knees if they're not already bent. Slowly find your way onto your side. I'll meet you in a nice seated position. Take a big inhale breath when you get there. Arm bones reach really broad up and overhead. And exhale, just let them go. Thanks for moving with me. I hope you feel a little bit of release and relief within the back side of your body, and maybe within your stress levels too. So I would love to hear how you like it. Feel free to reach out. And then as always, if you have any requests, send them my way. I'm happy to incorporate the stuff that you are interested in, if not in live classes, hopefully in more recorded versions soon. Have a great one. Bye.